How do you identify terms in polynomials? Imagine you're trying to understand a complex recipe. To make sense of it, you need to break it down into its main ingredients. That's exactly what identifying terms in a polynomial is like. A polynomial is an expression made up of parts called terms. Each term is separated by plus or minus signs. Think of each part as a building block of the whole expression. To spot the terms, look for the plus or minus signs. Each segment between these signs is a term. For example, in the polynomial 3 times squared plus 2 times x minus 5, the terms are 3x squared, 2x, and minus 5. The first term has a number, which is called the coefficient, and a variable, which is. The coefficient is 3, and the variable is x raised to the power of 2. The second term has a coefficient of to and a variable to the first power. The last term is just minus 5, which is a constant because it has no variable attached. Recognizing the constant term is important because it's just a number without any variable. It stands alone. When you see a term with a variable like x or x squared, that's a variable term. If the variable has an exponent like x to the third power, it's still just one term, but with a higher power. Different variables or exponents mean different terms. For example, 3x squared and 3x are two separate terms because the exponents are different. Terms with the same variable and the same exponent can be combined. For example, if you have 3x squared plus 2x squared, you can add the coefficients to get 5x squared. But if you have 3x squared and 3x, they stay separate because their exponents are different. Knowing how to identify terms helps you understand what kind of polynomial you're working with. It also makes it easier to simplify expressions or factor polynomials later on. When you break down a polynomial into its parts, you see how each piece fits together. This is the first step in mastering algebraic expressions. So, always look for the plus or minus signs, find the coefficients and variables, and recognize the constants. That way, you can clearly see each term and understand the structure of the polynomial.